right, welcome to all of you students and support from the Rotary Club of Point 14, who is sponsoring this evening workshop on career development, choosing your subjects, that is presented by the National Training Agency of Trinidad and Tobago. The National Training Agency is located in Chaguanas, and they are facilitators of different programs at different levels for all school children within the education program, plus outside of that, technical support in terms of where you're going and how to ensure that the future of Trinidad and Tobago does have skilled and professional people. We of the Rotary Club of Point 14, we're a part of a very large organization, over 35,000 clubs within the world, and there are almost 1.2 plus million Rotarians. And so we represent that with a motto, service above self. They're also, the Rotarians are not just old people, as you think, most times we are. No, there are three categories that are important, and that there are actually four. And we have the Rotarians, who are the older ones, above 35, and then you have the Rotaractors between 19 up, and then you have the Interact, which is your age for the third formers, and that is from 12 up. And you will be hearing from our Gen Chair, which is the New Generations Chair, at the end of the program, who will be sharing with you about Interact so that you may be able to have a group at your school. We also have Early Act for primary school students. So we are involved basically in sharing and building our communities in different ways, different dynamics. And we are glad today. I am Dr. Kenneth Niles. I am the vocational chair who encourages people in terms of vocational training exposure. And I am very happy to be helping you choose your subjects together with Mr. Michael Marimutu from the NTA. Before I hand over to him, I would like to just share our four-way test. We are guided by these criteria. Of the things we think or say or do, is the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? So we are guided not just to develop ourselves, but we are developing each other and a community of people. So we are thankful for your presence. And at this time, I hand over to Mr. Michael Marimutu from the National Training Agency, Career Development, Choosing Your Subjects. Mr. Marimutu.
Thank you very much, Dr. Niles. I do appreciate the introduction. And well, good day, everyone. This is a presentation by the Jobs and Career Guidance Unit of the National Training Agency. I'm going to talk to you all about the importance of making proper choices for choosing your subjects for CSEC and how this choice would impact on your job, your career, and your future. As I said, my name is Michael, and I'm with the National Training Agency, which is an institution under the Ministry of Education. We are a body designated by the government to monitor, coordinate, and promote TechVoc in order to cultivate a certified, competent, and globally competitive workforce. It is with this responsibility in mind that the NTA, through the Jobs and Career Guidance Unit that I'm with, presents to you career guidance for choosing your subjects. Now, one of the NTA's products is something called a CVQ, which stands for Caribbean Vocational Qualification. So, the jobs named before that fall within the TechVoc field that can be competently done by you will get you a CVQ certificate. Competently means that you can properly perform this job right out of school and so are much more attractive to employers. Thus, if you're able to sign up for a CVQ subject when your school requires you to, well, probably at the end of this term, so when you graduate after Form 5, you are immediately hireable because you have a skill skill is the ability to apply knowledge productively, and that makes you very valuable to an employer because he doesn't have to spend time and money to train you. But remember, most jobs also ask for math and English in addition to 1 to 2 other subjects. So does anybody like KFC? Their workers need a minimum of math, English, plus 3 subjects to work for you. That's 5 subjects you must leave school with to get this entry-level job. The session will be to, firstly, bring awareness to you about the subject selection and its career path relationship. Next, to provide useful information about making informed decisions about your subject choices. And thirdly, to outline helpful steps for the subject selection and career selection process, okay? So making the connection. This is why I'm speaking to you today. I'm here to help you decide where you're going to live, how big your house is, if you have a pool, how many cars you own. So how are you going to get all of this? You need a job, right? You're not going to rob somebody to get that kind of money, are you? What kind of job do you want? Will it be able to give you all of this? But if you don't have the qualifications to be hired for your dream job, how can you get it? You need to get your certificates, starting with your CXCs and maybe even CVQs. And this is why you need now to choose a group of subjects very soon. Your subject choice informs you of what further training at CAPE and university or maybe a technical institute will be accessible to you, because these Form 5 subjects are the prerequisites to grant you access to further education. For example, say you want to be a pharmacist and you don't do chemistry, which is a prerequisite. You will now have to go back and do it externally and then try to get back into school to continue towards pharmacy. You would have wasted 2 years when you could have chosen wisely at this point in time. So, working backwards, you need to now consider a career goal, your dream, the certifications for it, the subjects you have to do as the prerequisites to study in that field. But before you make this decision of a career goal, you need to find out some very important information about your CSEC subjects, about the options you have. You need to find out from your school what groups of subjects are available to you to choose from. Next, you need to find out which are the compulsory ones for your career field. What subjects are of interest to me and what am I good at? And finally, which subjects are needed to further studies in your career field? When you have the answers to these, you are now ready to proceed on your career path. Because if you're not interested in a subject and have no natural ability in it, then you should not be considering it unless it's math or English, as these are prerequisites for everything that's ahead of you. You will have to study hard and make much more of an effort to get these subjects, even if you have little ability in them, natural ability. You have to work harder. This will also be the case for the prerequisite or compulsory subject you may also have to study in your chosen group for your educational path. Now, as I had mentioned before, your school offers you a number of sets of subject groupings. Each subject group comprises of the core subjects for various career streams, and it's important to know how these are grouped together and are offered by your school. Now, please note that these groups will differ across schools. Sometimes a group may not be offered at your school, or you may have to choose from from more than one group in order to make up your selection for CSEC. So consider this carefully and talk to your dean or subject teacher or form teacher about the choice you're about to make. So here we have a sample of possible sets of subject groupings that a school might offer based on what their facilities are and the teachers that they have at that point in time.
Hi, Michael.
These subjects.
Excuse?
We're still seeing the the original slide as opposed to you switching slides just in case.
Sorry?
We're still seeing the intro slide.
You're kidding. Oh my goodness. But this is what is showing here. Wow. We passed through a lot.
Excuse, how long is this going to be?
25 minutes.
Oh, so finishing about 3:25.
Yes.
So Michael, what you can do is reshare your screen. So stop sharing and reshare the presentation.
What do I
Or reconfigure your settings, sir.
Are you seeing, what are you seeing now? The technical and vocational subjects?
Right, so we're seeing
Yeah,
sample
we're seeing
subjects.
samples.
Oh.
Yeah, now we're seeing technical and vocational.
Okay.
Right, great.
All right. Okay, let me do a quick recap. So I talked to you about who we are and what we do and why it is so important to consider your subject choice options at this point in time, because it will lead to your career path. All right. And what we looked at here was basically where your career goal is, the subject you choose is CSEC or CXC, then CAPE, tertiary level education, then the job requirements, and that gives you your career goal, your dream job. You have to have your prerequisites done in order to achieve your career goal. So this slide would have spoken to you about the questions you have to ask about what subjects are available in your school, what subjects are compulsory, what you are good at, and then what you actually need for your dream job, your career path, the studies that you want to undertake. And then I went in to speak to you all about the various options that you would have within your school, and that some schools differ in what they offer. Not all schools offer the same thing, and you actually may have to choose from a few different groupings. You may have to choose a basic group and then one or two subjects from another group. And this brings us to a sample of what the options are. This is just a sample. That's what we got from one school. It's not necessarily for what your school is. And okay, so I think that's where we are at this point, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Right. So here we have a sample of possible subject groupings that your school might offer based on what facilities they are, the teachers that they have, and these will form the prerequisites for what you have to do at CAPE or some other tertiary level institution, because you might want to leave school at 5, go to maybe MICs or maybe the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute or some other level institutions that accepts form CXC subjects, CSEC subjects. So think about it. What possible jobs do you think can come from each of these groupings? You need to do some research. So when you get your school's actual groupings, you can see what is the best choice for your dream job. Because you would have to now choose what is based on the offerings from your school. Now, as I mentioned before, there is also a CVQ or TechVox subjects offered in schools. Now, being trained in a school for a CVQ subject means that a job can be competently done by you. Again, competently means that you can properly perform this job right out of school. So you're very attractive to employers who want to hire someone to do some sort of job at their business place. And the NTA, where I work at, is also responsible for implementing and monitoring the CVQ subject in schools throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So here we have a list of various TechVox subjects that are offered in secondary schools. It's not a complete list. There are many others. I think it's something like 40 something that people register for in this last academic year. So are any of you doing any of these things after school? Maybe helping somebody in a shop with floral arrangement, or you're working in a food place preparing foods for a business. Maybe you help an uncle out repairing cars. These are some of the things that you can actually study in school, work on it after hours, and at the end of the academic year in Form 5, write the exam, and you will get a qualification in that area. Now, these are options for you to seriously consider when the time comes, especially if you have prior ability in them, like you worked after school in these areas, and you now get a certification that represents your skill set. So we're now going to look at the benefits of choosing a TechVoc subject, because we at the NTA want to encourage you to seriously consider not just academic subjects, math, English, geography, physics, chemistry, but other subjects that can provide you with immediate income, just in case you're not able to pursue further education and get qualified with the academic subjects. Now, we all know that acquiring a full CXC certificate is foundational to one's success. But how can pursuing a TechVoc subject also improve your chance of success? TechVoc gives you opportunity to be competently certified, which means you have enhanced employability attractiveness. It is an alternate route to further education. So it doesn't mean that you're cutting out further education by going to TechVoc. You can have, there's, in the case of the CVQs, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at level 5, which is equivalent to almost a master's on the academic side. So it is in parallel standing with academic qualifications, and so it's just as recognized by them. Now, a CVQ subject also includes real-world experience. It offers, in some cases, a higher earning potential, and it is recognized and a portable qualification throughout CARICOM or CXME, just as the CAPE and CXC subjects are. So if you decide that you want to go and work in Barbados or Jamaica or St. Kitts because there are opportunities there that you are interested in, you can take this and go across there and be recognized, and it will be recognized there. And so you're more hireable throughout the Caribbean. You're not just limited to the Trinidad and Tobago job market. But again, I must remind you that subjects are linked to careers. So we see what kind of jobs now can come from choosing a particular set of subjects. Now, these subjects will be the core ones in addition to maths and English. And in the TechVoc field, you will not be doing all of these at once unless you want to and your school is offering it. So we see that in the sciences, like I said, mentioned before, chemistry, physics, biology, art, maths, and that leads to doctors, nurses, engineers, and so forth. If you're interested, say you want to become, say you don't know what you want to do, but you know you want to become, say, a journalist, you have to study literature, social sciences, history, and geography is thrown into the modern studies grouping. If you want to become a businessman, an entrepreneur, you want to start your own business, POA, POB, economics. So now you see that this is how the subject choice that you choose would lead into the career that you are thinking about. So, how do we select our subject groupings? Now, the first step is to engage in self-assessment. This allows you to understand who you are as an individual, determine your strengths and weaknesses, determine your likes and dislikes. So pay attention to the courses and activities you enjoy and excel at. Do not ignore how you respond and think as an individual, as these qualities point to your personality types, not anybody else's, but how you think. You have to identify your talents, your skills, and values. Next step is to do your research. Now, there are many ways to conduct research. You need to exhaust all avenues to find the answers that you seek. Think carefully about your career choices. Then, make a list of possible career choices. For each career on your list, you must discover which subjects are required, what skill is required. Is tertiary level education required for this course of studies? And if so, which university is offering this sort of training? Because we have University of Southern Caribbean here, UE, UTT, and many other private institutions offering training such as SAMS. What is the cost of this course of the program of study? How long will it take to complete the program? Now compare each option based on your research and select the subjects that are relevant to your future endeavors. Now remember, the internet is not just for socializing. Google and do your research here. You can also ask your teachers as well as older friends and family members what they think. You can speak with professionals when they visit your school and career day. Well, that might not happen for a while. Maybe you will have a virtual career day like I hear that some schools are planning to have. Or you can contact a professional association. You have like architects, bankers, plumbers, bakers. They all have professional institutions. And you can call them and ask to speak to someone who can give you some career advice as to how to get into that field. Where should you study in order to be recognized and qualified and find a job or career in that field? Or you can even go to a business place. If you want to be a mechanic, go to a mechanic's business place, talk to the guy there, find out about where he studied and how he became so good at the business that he is doing. And so, I kind of skipped this slide. Like I said before, self-assessment, do your research. Next, you have to complete your gap analysis. This would help you to examine your current performance of what your desired or expected performance is, and then you would know what your desired subjects are. You need to measure the gap between your current state of what your grades are currently and other performance factors, and then your career goal. Now, this might require you to talk to, say, your dean or subject teachers about your performance and what you need to do to improve it, because you want to create a career path into this field, and if your performance is not up to mark, you need to do something about it. Now, you need to also consider some measures you can implement to help fill the gap you have identified. For example, extra lessons, more time studying, less time playing, or you can even find a classmate who is doing better than you, and you go and work with him or her in order to study better and learn more. And finally, step 4, create an action plan. Now, this will assist you visually of charting your career path, setting your goals, and staying on track. So write your goals down on paper, and for each goal, determine what actions you must take in order to achieve it. So you have these steps, you check off each step as you complete it, and you reward yourself with achievements, both big and small. You must recognize all your achievements. Revisit and revise your action plan as necessary. All right? So now here's a little bonus tip for you on goal setting. Instead of working harder, you need to work smarter, or SMART. SMART, that's the acronym. Goal setting is easier when we break up those large objectives into smaller or manageable tasks. So always ensure that your goals are specific. Make your goal as precise as possible, not very general. I want to be in this field. No, I want this job within this field. Measurable, so that you can quantify your progress and measure your achievement. You need to make it attainable. Set goals that you can realistically achieve. Relevant are any career-related goal that you set must genuinely matter and would support your final outcome. And finally, T, time-based. Give your goals deadlines. You need to know when your exams are due. All right? So you want to work smart and not hard. Now, I have a few don'ts that you must keep in mind for choosing your subjects. Don't choose a subject because all your friends are doing it. Because if you don't have the interest and ability for it, then you will get very frustrated. And when you can't keep up, and then you can't keep up with the class, basically. Don't exclude a subject because you don't like the teacher. This is your future, not theirs. So get over it and think about yourself. Be selfish that way. And what you what the achievement of this subject will mean to you in terms of the rewards that the job will bring. Think about yourself. Forget about the teachers and what issues you have with them. It's just one class a day, a class, 2 or 3 classes a week. Think about yourself. Now remember, math and English are compulsory and are prerequisites for many jobs. So you need to find a way to succeed in them. You just need to apply this determination to other subjects and don't exclude a subject because it's too difficult. Just like the teacher. If you can find friends you are comfortable with and work and study the subject with them, you will find understanding the subject and the topic much easier. So just because the subject is difficult to you initially doesn't mean you can't turn your weakness into a strength by studying with other persons. So I want to remind you at this time that there are many resources that you can use when considering your subject and career choices. You have your subject teacher, and as well as your form teacher, your guidance officer who can advise you on your inherent capabilities. You can go to professionals or find a mentor at a business place or even your wider family circle, someone who knows about the field that you want to get into. And finally, your parents. Talk to your parents and get help from them. Because at the end of the day, your parents are the ones that they want the best for you. So they're going to try to give you the best possible advice to see you succeed. They want to see you succeed. So talk to your parents. Don't exclude them from this process. Now, if you don't know what job you can do with the subjects in the group that you would like to choose, then you need to do a little research. And you can do this by having a look at this booklet. Now, it's a bit old, it's a little out of date, but it gives you a general idea of what jobs are available in Trinidad and Tobago and how you can go about getting them. Now, it's called the Trinidad and Tobago Career Handbook, and it's by AFET, the Association of Female Executives of Trinidad and Tobago. So if you want to get a copy of it, I have a soft copy. You can provide me with your name, number, and email address, and I will send a soft copy to you. Now, I would provide my contact details at the end of this presentation. So you can then take my email and send me your request, and I will send it out to you at that point in time. But again, if you are still, after looking at that booklet, doing your research, still undecided and need some more help to find a job or feel that you think you would be happy with, then you can consider using a free online career aptitude test. Here are some examples of the tests that are available that I found. It's about 8 or 9 of them. Yeah, these are all free sites, but try not to just do one. You need to do about 3 or 4 of them to see if they consistently tell you the same thing. Now, all these are outcomes, the answers they're going to give you are based on answers to questions they're going to ask you about yourself. So this is how you feel and what you know. And they would process it and tell you that this is the field that you might consider a career in. And again, if you want to get a list of all these, you could take a screenshot now or just send me an email at the end of the presentation. I'm going to give you my contact information and I can send this
Is this a
slide
test?
No, that's not a test. It is just a questionnaire that they're going to ask you, and you just fill out the questions on it and they'll give you back a response. So now that we have discussed what is required from you at this point in time, you are in Form 3. You have to choose a set of subjects that you would be doing at CSEC, and the subjects would lead into a certain job and career. And you need now to make the right choice as to what group is best for you based on your abilities and interests. And this concludes my presentation to you today. So if you have any questions, we have the chat at the chat box at the side. You can type it in there. And on the next page, here we go. Right. This is my contact information. I work at the National Training Agency. We have one office in Chaguanas and one office in Tobago. My email is in the bottom right of your screen. We're not in office these days, so email is the only way to really get in contact with us. We are also on Facebook. Look for the National Training Agency and Jobs and Career Guidance Service on Facebook, and you can also post questions there for us to answer for you. So, do we have any questions, Shadran?
Yeah, so I'm gonna check your. We have a couple pertaining to different careers.
Sure.
So I listed a couple of them in your WhatsApp chats. You should see it from there. One person asked if the slides will be made available.
Sorry, what's that?
One person asked if the slides would be made available.
Yes, well, once I think that you are planning to record the presentation, so it should be available maybe on YouTube or a link on the Rotary's website.
Yeah, we can send a PDF version of the slides to register with the slides.
I can do that as well. If you want to get I wouldn't send the PowerPoint, that's pretty big. I can email you a PDF version of this presentation. So if you want that, you have my email contact at the bottom right of your screen. Please send me an email requesting that whatever information about career choices that you require. So somebody's asking, Mr. Sutton, Andrea Sutton wants to know about neurosurgery. I can't answer that specifically, but send me an email request and I will send you the career guidance handbook, and I believe that that is covered inside there. And if you want to work offshore,
that'll be tech book. Hello? Is he frozen? Mr. Michael? I think Michael is frozen.
Yeah, it looks like it's.
Well, the person who wants to work offshore, that is could be a tech book because you'll be doing welding, especially underwater welding, and other kinds of skills, maybe like cooking because of the pantry, and basically construction of some kind. So that it's important for you to work in the tech work area. So there's the welding, there may be some carpentry. Those are the kind of skills you may need at the on shop levels. Somebody else about neurosurgery, you have to be a doctor. So you must be a medical doctor first, and then that will be your specialty after you've graduated and done your residency. Then you apply to do your specialty, and your specialty would be neurosurgery. But you must be a medical doctor.
So how long it does take to study neurosurgery? To be a neurosurgeon, right? What,
That should be about 7 to 9 years.
7 to 9 years? Okay.
For the first 3-4 years would be the bachelor's. Then you have to do a year residency. Then you have to be a house officer. By that time, you will then choose your career, your specialty, and you will. So you're practicing at the same time. You'll be in a hospital working, and then you choose your specialty, and you'll get time off to do that study, and then you finish, and then you become specialized.
Oh, so you have to go through a certain phase. You have to go through certain phases and studies in order to get neurosurgery.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Vinny, I have a question.
What's that?
I have a question similar to what he just said. So I want to become a doctor as well. I want to specialize in cardiothoracic surgery, but I wanted to know what subjects you have to choose in Form 3 in order to become a doctor, and what you have to do when you go to college. What subjects do you have to do in university?
Hold on. Oh, the thing about universities, all universities start off with a bachelor's degree, and that is foundational. After the bachelor's, then you become to be a specialist in some area. So if you're doing medicine, that's a first degree. After that, you get employed at a hospital, you begin to practice, then you choose your specialty, which is you already seem to have one. And that specialty will have its own teachings and its own exams. But you must, so if for you to get into to be a doctor at University of the West Indies or anywhere else, you must have physics for sure and chemistry and any other subject. You may have
Okay, thank
biology,
you.
but for sure they're asking for physics and the chemistry, maths, of course. If you do engineering, you must have maths and you must have physics.
Okay, thank you
So
very
what
much.
about army?
The army, you would have to have 5 CXCs to start with. And if you have if you have any other training, that would be good, because when you get into the army, there are special areas that you can work in, not just walking the street with a gun, but they have, again, the cook, the chef, you have administration, so you could be accountant, you could be, you see, the army has a full range of disciplines, yes?
So what about accounting?
You need to do POB and POA. And if you go to A levels, you'll have to do management of business and or accounts. Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
what about flight attendants?
Hold on. Also for the personal accountants, if you don't do A levels, you'll have to go to one school of accountants.
So I am
Faith token.
Okay. Flight attendant, again, five CXCs, must have maths and English, and you apply to Cal.
Excuse me, sir.
Sir,
What about if you want to become a customs officer?
You apply to service commissions, but you must have the basic thing for jobs today, as Mr. Maramutu was saying, even KFC, you need 5 CXCs. Let's get that, so that whatever area you get into, and think about it, you're young enough to change. So what happens with you now is that you're trying to find out from your own enthusiasm what looks good out there. But sometimes it's what you feel that you're good at. So you have to I would suggest you talk to your parents, talk to teachers, and see where you can work best. And
excuse
then
me,
you go.
sir. Excuse me,
Yes?
sir. What if you want to be an attorney at law?
Again, that could be, once you get 3 A levels and you apply to the University of the West Indies or any other university, today you may have CXCs and apply to some of the other agencies.
So what about being a teacher?
Again, 5 CXCs, you could, and if you want to do secondary school, it'd be best for you to go to university and qualify in a particular area, because they will have.
Excuse me, sir. What about joining the army? What if I want to be a president? A president.
To his backup, it's about to
Dr. Niles, I think that a lot of these questions, we wouldn't have the specific answers for them. But the career handbook that I showed them, if they want to, if the information is within that handbook. If they want to join the army, that's pretty straightforward. You have to have your 5 subjects, and you apply to the Ministry of National Security for that specific arm of the security forces when they have a recruitment. Army, Air Guard, Coast Guard, Police Service, and Fire, all managed by the Ministry of National Security. Right? But I think that...
Sir, excuse, what about, you have heard anything?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
So what about if you want to be an instrumental engineer?
Instrumental engineer means that you want to be a plant operations engineer. So you're probably going to go into UE and somewhere within the engineering department.
Oh, okay.
Or UTT for that matter. UTT also is a faster way to be trained in that field.
One of the things I think, Mr. Marmutu, that needs to be addressed is some people were commenting about the fact that they're doing 13 subjects now. How do you narrow that down to 8? How do you make that choice? I think people are not
No,
seeing.
well, like I said before, the subject groupings are limited by the schools themselves. They will give you about 5 or 6, not 5 or 6, about 5 choices, 4 or 5 choices of groups. You don't have to actually pick and choose from all that you're doing. The school will give you a grouping, and the students now have to decide on which group they are going to pursue. And like I said before, you need to do your research, figure out what kind of job, forget about what the subjects are for, what kind of job are you first of all interested in? And then you take my handbook, look at that job and see whether those subjects are covered within the group that you are doing well in. So if you're doing well in this, if you're not doing well in that set of subjects that lead into your career path, then you are not going to necessarily succeed unless you have the determination to work harder than normal and study hard to get into that field. So going from 13 subjects down to 8, the school will give you a list, and that would have the 8 subjects and the groups of 8 subjects, or whatever number it is that they feel their students can handle, and whether they have the teachers and the facilities to accommodate these subjects.
Mr. Marozo, thank you very much. I think we need to just cap here. I think what he just said is important for you. Get that handbook.
You need that handbook, yes. Just send me the email. My contact information was on the last screen. Hopefully you'll have time to take a screenshot so you remember it. I don't know. Do you want me to put it back up again, or?
Yeah, Michael, if you can put it back up, let's close off the session. So folks can take a contact information because there are a lot of questions coming in. Folks.
Well, they're all asking basically the same thing. They want to find out about getting into a certain career path, and we don't have everything at our fingertips. But the handbook has most of them inside. And if you can't find something within the handbook, feel free to contact me, contact the National Training Agency, and to get that sort of information about a career path that's not within that handbook. The screen sharing is disabled, Shedron.
Dr. Nancy, could make him a co-host, please, before.
Oh, how do you do that? I'm not getting the 3 buttons anymore. I am not.
You can go ahead, Michael.
Sorry, no, okay, go ahead now, okay. Right, so there we go. Our contact information, like I said, we are on Facebook as well. My email is michael-marimutu@ntatt.org. You can email me directly. We have a consumer services at NTA, because if I can't respond or I don't respond to you, it will be shared to our whole department for a response via consumer services at ntatt.org as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
At this time, I want to introduce to you Ms. Anne-Marie Rogers, and she's going to just give you a brief insight to the Interact Club that you can have at your secondary school. Ms. Rogers.
Hi guys, good evening. I'm Rotarian Annie, New Generation Chair from the Rotary Club of Point Fortin, and I'm so happy just to share a few moments with you what our Rotary organization offers. We at the Point Fortin Rotary Club are proud members of an international organization. As PP Kenneth said, we are a family of 1.2 million Rotarians in 46,000 clubs in 200 countries. As part of this Rotary family, we have 3 arms related to you, young people like you: Rotaract, Interact, Early Act. I would like to share a little bit about Interact. That will be your age group. Interact is a Rotary-sponsored service club for young persons 12 to 18 years old, and it gives young people, mainly high school students, an opportunity to participate in fun and meaningful service projects. Interact clubs are self-supporting and self-governing, thus encouraging the development of leadership skills. Interactors take action to build international understanding while making new friends around the world. We have 10,700 clubs in 109 countries in the world. In our district, 7030, we have 64 Interact clubs. The Rotary Club of Point Fortin sponsored the Interact Club at Holy Name Convent, Point Fortin in March 2016. So we only have one Interact Club. You might be sitting there asking yourself, why should you join an Interact Club? Well, it's a club where young persons are trained in leadership and professional skills, networking, and many, many more skills. Every year, interactors have the opportunity to attend RILA, which is Rotary Youth Leadership Awards in a foreign country. If we have any teacher on board or any student who would like to start an Interact Club in your school, please contact the Rotary Club of Point Fortin. Come on board, because the world needs Rotary, your community needs you, and Rotary needs you. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, if there, I know you still have your questions, but those questions, as Mr. Marimutu said, can be answered if you get that handbook and contact them. And we at the Rotary Club of Point Fortin are also very present. You have a contact from your email, and you can send to the Rotary Club. Is it Rotary Club of Point Fortin at gmail.com? And you can, we have a Facebook page and an Instagram page, so you can always find Rotary Club of Point Fortin. And we are very, very pleased to connect with you and to encourage you in your future achievement as professionals. Remember, it's not just about the academics of trying to be the doctor, the lawyer, but whatever desire you have in terms of a vocation to share, once you settle down and get those 5 CXCs, you can go in any direction. So we do appreciate your presence today. We are thankful. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Point Fortin, I really thank Mr. Michael Marimutu from the NTA for coming and sharing with us. Ms. Amy Rogers, the New Gen Chair for our Rotary Club of Point Fortin, and of course, the man behind all the visual thing, the man who got you registered, all that, Mr. Shedron Collins, our public image chair. And I really, really want to shout him out and say thank you very much, Shedron. You have been a great help, great support for this program today. And for all other Rotarians that are present with us and anybody from the NTA, thank you very much for being here. All students, continue. The new normal is discipline. School has removed itself from down the road. School is now in your house. So be comfortable, be disciplined, control the fridge, control the going to the TV and library. Really sit down there and work with your students, with the teachers and your other students. So again, let service rise in you above your own self and continue to know that the Lord is a great God, and Trinidad and Tobago is looking forward for you the next 20 years to show them what you got and how NTA's Day has helped you to make a good choice for your career. Thank you and have a good afternoon.